Here.
Recording has begun. Okay.
Hi, Tyler.
Recording.
All right. So, again, you guys came to this mountain to kill a dragon to get some dragon blood. Along the way, you guys met this bear named Zebediah, who had been fucked up by a giant that lived in the region. And this giant's name was something that I apparently didn't make a note of. Thank you for that music. Oh, here it is. Wait.
No problem.
Okay, still don't have it written down there. Well, I'll find it later. So, you guys are going to help either rescue or avenge Zebediah's wife, who this giant had kidnapped. And in order to do so, and to kind of kill two birds with one bird, you have come up with a scheme that you're not going to fight the dragon right away. Instead, you're going to try to convince the dragon to help you fight the giant, and then you guys will turn on the dragon and kill him, like the noble adventurers that you are.
Pretty good plan.
Everybody wins.
So,
except the dragon and the giant.
Except the dragon and the giant. So you guys have followed the path that leads to the dragon's air quotes lair. You're in this kind of chamber. You're on the outside of the mountain, and then there is a brief cave with an opening on the other side, kind of like a hallway in the mountain that just cuts straight through it. With a nice opening, and this is where you guys have decided to camp out and catch your breath before you go fight. Through the opening, you can see this wide open caldera, which is a word that means a bowl-shaped recess in the top of a mountain. You've seen the dragon flying around this space before, so presumably this is where the dragon's lair is located. And on the wall in front of the exit to the dragon's caldera is carved in Dwarvish the words, "Do not face him on his own terms. There's another way around." But if you guys are going to negotiate, that's presumably not relevant to you. So I will give you guys the choice if you want, because we spend maybe like an hour having lunch or something, catching our breath, getting our short rest so we get some HP back. If you guys want, we can go over what the party is talking about during that and do our pre-game character building question, or we can jump right into it.
I appreciate the pre-game character building questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that idea.
All right. So the topic of conversation that comes up while we're all preparing lunch is, and this is something that we all probably know about each other anyway, but it comes up and is worth mentioning. What's your go-to conflict resolution? It's a pretty simple question for our kind of characters, I think, but
I really like to get on other people's levels.
okay, Gimbal likes to get on their level.
So I will think of something that resembles them.
Oh, okay.
And then just
so
talk down.
You literally transform into them in order to intimidate them into submission. I see. Yes, that is very good. How about
looks on in the conversation and just keeps tapping his sword and hinting towards the blade and looking at others menacingly and tapping his sword.
okay, so it's sort of another intimidation, but a different kind. I like it. Either Lunara or Vanitas?
So Vanitas, it's he tries to comedy his way out, and if that doesn't work, he just punches somebody.
Okay, I like that.
Doesn't matter who it is, just someone.
Just finds the nearest orphan and gives him a good sucker punch.
Yeah, whatever's gonna start a fight, so he doesn't have to worry about the conflict anymore.
Be effective.
Okay. Yes.
Based on everything so far, I think Lunara's go-to conflict resolution tactic would be kicking them in the face.
Okay.
Yeah,
A bunch
Okay.
of
It
brutes
works.
Party.
Not a very loquacious group. Okay. So
you're using a lot of good words today.
thank you. So I have moved the players over to Sword Mountain Second Peak. So anybody who's a GM can switch over to that. And then I think there should only be one area visible. So if you need to zoom out, zoom around, find the visible section. And this is the caldera we're going to walk out onto when we exit the cave. Do you guys want to do any kind of game planning before I set the scene?
So Sebek,
Well, where are our characters? Okay, never mind. I see them top left. Somebody was about to ask Sabek something.
can you put your sword on your back?
Do you
I think I
mean
can
like
do that.
sheath it or have it at
I
the
mean-
ready?
I imagine he doesn't actually have a sheath.
Oh, yeah.
No, Sabek has a sheath that's pretty much just a bunch of loose leather straps, kind of like in a diagonal fashion along the back of a duster.
Hmm.
Yeah, he can do it.
That must be a really difficult way to sheath a sword. Like,
Yeah.
you just have to like lie it. I don't know.
Especially,
yeah.
especially when you consider that canonically, Sabek, one half of Sabek's sword is serrated.
Well, don't think about it like you have to aim the sword directly down into the sheath. Like they're leather snaps and
Oh, you
buckles.
just snap it in
So
place. That's actually
yeah.
pretty practical as great.
He's
sword
pretty
shapes.
flexible too. Like, if he's gonna like hold that sword and like click those in together, that's
Listen,
oh yeah, man.
Venus is
You gotta
impressed.
run in the morning. You can't be all stiff and stuff going out and fighting dragons, and
Listen.
you're addicted to dragon blood. So you got to stay limited.
I discreetly zipped up my dress while sitting in a pew in church today. People can be flexible if they need to.
That's a great point.
I don't
Okay.
even know the last time I was in a church.
Yeah, it's
Let
a
alone did
weird
something
experience.
discreet.
What's in the church?
See, I'm
Okay.
Jewish. I have an excuse, but I've never been to a synagogue either. So,
Yeah. So probably the one thing that's worth mentioning, as you guys look, you can see this from in the cave. You don't have to exit the cave to see this. This caldera, it sort of spirals downward to a central point, and noticeably throughout the whole caldera, there's this there are these spots of like a gray metallic splatter paint kind of texture that seems to be something other than the normal natural texture of the mountain. One of these textures actually runs up to the entrance of the cave that you guys are sitting in, so you can sort of examine it up close, and it appears to be slag iron. So just like wrought iron that has been dumped into this spot.
So, is this stuff hot?
It is
Or
not.
has it solidified?
It has long since been solidified.
Okay.
So
not
it-
slippery at all.
It looks almost as if somebody had just a giant bucket full of molten iron, and they like throwing a paint bucket splashed it.
the
up
way you
against
describe this is it's making me think that that's actually like canonically what happened.
We'll see. So, do you guys want to do any game? Do you guys want to come up with a plan for your negotiation?
Sobek would ask Lunara what she thinks of this stuff, since she's a ranger and she knows, the natural environment versus unnatural.
I'd really like to get a lay of the land before we like walk right up in there, because there's no way we know that he's immediately going to be amenable with negotiating.
Okay, interesting.
Can I use my like raven to fly around and see things?
I'm going to give you a raven in canon, hopefully later this game, but right now you don't have one. But you are a stealthy ranger. You can sneak out there and try to avoid notice and just like physically get a lay of the land.
Yes,
I could take a
will
quick
do that.
sky view.
Now,
You could also do that.
if he does that, it's going to be very visible, and he will.
True.
There's no possible way he's not going to be seen. Lunara has. All right, so
What
you don't
time
have
is it?
stealth as one of your specialty skills, but you do have. You're very dexterous, so you'll be naturally good at it.
What time is it in game?
I've been thinking of it as noon, although it's. Listen, if anybody wants to go back to check the books and see what time I said it was last time, feel free to call me out. We're gonna say it's noon.
Oh, that's fine. It's just I have specific skills that revolve around like dark. So if it's light outside, then I can't
Is
do
it
much.
okay? Well, so I was going to say if it's easier for you guys, you could wait until nighttime and then do this, but you guys are kind of on a time budget to rescue this bear lady.
We don't have to wait.
Yeah,
let's- You'll roll with the punches.
I'll just go, take a look around, see what's going on.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a great
Lunara,
go.
roll a stealth for me, and I'll sort of give you what you find. 16's not bad. Okay,
Ooh.
so you can move your character around. I'm gonna say with a 16. Okay, this is interesting. So this is different than how I was expecting to do it. Where am I going to put this? Okay, here's what I'll reveal for you. Where's my polygon reveal? Okay, and yes, this is how I'm gonna do it. Okay, so all right, as you leave the cave, you are able to do so just kind of using like natural distractions, and maybe you time it for when one of those giant birds flies overhead. You slip out of the cave, you slip into the natural shadow provided by the the gullies and these rocks over here, and you kind of carefully move in such a way, down low into this tall grass that you avoid detection. You get somewhere, and you're gonna have to. Would you be inclined towards finding a spot and waiting and observing for a bit, or like scouting around more first?
I prefer to play it safe. Maybe just scout out from one safe spot.
Okay, so how about move your character over to here? Because I think that's a place you could get to without any chance of detection.
Could you ping that one more time for me?
This first iron splatter. Just
Over
to your
here?
right. Yep. Okay. So as you're in this area, scouting around, you're going to notice... You notice an odd shadow. And based on this shadow, you can tell that there is a large, what you kind of imagine a dragon is probably shaped like, creature up on this ridge here. But he's positioned in such a way that nobody just walking through this area would see him. You're only able to find him because you're specifically looking for something like that. He doesn't seem to have noticed you, and what do you do?
Can the group still see me?
My only concern would be because you were in stealth that whole time, but because we were looking for you the whole time, I'd say yes, we can still see you.
Let's see. Do I have anything?
Oh, I should have given her the ring of pointing.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's a way I can like kind of basically signal to the group that I see it, but I don't want to be noticed.
So if you want, we have this thing that the party picked up before most of you guys started. We have these things called Stones of Far Speech, or as Cody likes to call them, Rocky Talkies. And you talk into one stone and it comes out of the other. We have, I think, 3 of them total for the party to share as needed. So, in a situation like this, it absolutely makes sense that your character would take one of them. If you want, you can use that to communicate, but you are currently standing right underneath the dragon, so you would have to sort of whisper very carefully if you wanted to do that.
And keep in mind, if we don't hear you, we might get a little loud on that other rock's end.
Yeah.
So the shiny slag or the slags type stuff that's kind of like sliding around and solidified. It's shiny, right?
So I'm thinking of it as freshly poured iron. And so I don't think it would be particularly shiny because iron as like freshly cast, it's not smooth. So it has lots of, bumps and kind of a gritty texture on the surface that mats it out a bit.
Of it all, like angle it towards the sun to make a kind of like a flashing signal.
Could I maybe like...
You could use an arrow to do that.
Yeah.
Arrowhead?
Ooh, I could. Yeah, could I basically just like try and very carefully like point an arrow up towards the ledge where the dragon is without hopefully being noticed, but you guys can see it?
I think that's fair.
Like use an arrowhead to shine light in our eyes and then like up there.
Okay, I like that. I think that you do that. The message is
well received.
I'll go ahead and say that the party can make out that there's something up there that you're trying to get their attention about. Contextually, it makes sense that maybe the dragon is what you're pointing to.
But it's not established for sure. It's just like a gotcha.
She went somewhere and pointed.
Do we know the dragon's name?
Hashtag helping.
You guys do not know the... you guys might know the dragon's name. His name was on a sign that you passed on the way up here. There was a sign that said to Varunga's lair. So
I thought it was like Volthrun. That was closer than I thought I would be. We should totally play a game of charades with her.
Okay. Well, what I would like to do, if you guys are down, I think it'd be a good idea is since I can absorb a lot of damage, and if this guy decides to like smack one of us or attack one of us, it should probably be me who he does that to first. So have a Doctor Strange moment and go out in front and say, Dragon or Varunga, I've come to bargain. Meanwhile, you guys position yourselves in a way where you're not clustered, I guess, and won't get incinerated by dragon fire.
Okay.
Vanitas is just gonna instinctually cover his eyes, just in case.
Okay, that's very good. Okay. So here is what's going to happen. Sabek, so you walk out. If you don't mind, I'm going to position you sort of over here.
Oh, good. Varunga, I've come to bargain.
Okay. As he says that, Lunara, you see Varunga's shadow shift as if he's moving. And then with the titanic crash of a boulderous object landing just behind you,
Oh God.
Sabek, you turn around and there is a human there. You guys, or a humanoid. He is clearly not biologically human. You guys can zoom in on that portrait if you want.
It's Varys.
Well, yes. I wasn't sure how many people would be up on there. Is that
I'm digging it.
Is that League of Legends?
It is.
Yeah, that's gotta be League.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I was trying to find a good Dragon Man kind of look. So, to be clear, Lunara, this is not the silhouette that you saw in the shadow before.
Okay.
He has somehow changed shape into a more humanoid shape as he crashed
This is
down.
like a WoW dragon.
Yes. Okay, so let me check my notes and see if I know what he says right away. Not those notes, apparently. How about these notes? Okay, how about these notes? God, I have so many notes.
All of the notes.
I have entirely too many notes. Bio and info? Nope, not that one. How about this one? Okay. We've got the stains in the area. Varunga. Okay. So, it's going to drop down, assuming that you have come to bargain. Update, the giant that you guys want help killing is named Orel.
Orel?
Yes. So, you said, I have come to bargain, correct?
Yep.
Alright, then, Varunga slams to the ground behind you, and as you turn, he is going to say, he's going to spread his hands benevolently and say, Varunga has arrived. And what is your request? Do you seek powerful blessings of magic? Do you seek the wisdom of the ages, mastery of metalworking, or boons and favor, or simply treasure? What do you seek?
I think Sabek would first say, why do you appear before us as a man? We know what you are. I know what you are. Why are you doing this?
He's going to chuckle, and he's going to say, I find that people find it more palatable to negotiate with me like this. But if you prefer, and in a blink of an eye, there is a huge displacement of air, and the air kind of sends you flying backwards. Or, you know, you get like a gust of air in the face as let's see, 15-foot wide, probably 20-foot tall reptilian creature with he's got cracks in his skin that you can see molten iron burning out of, and little leaks of molten iron dripping out of his mouth. He's going to lean down over your head and say, "Do you prefer to speak to me like this?"
Sabek yawns. I prefer truth in all things. Now we can talk.
The dragon does the reptilian form of a shrug, which is just kind of like a roll of the upper body, and he's going to kind of curl up and get himself comfortable in the corner here and say, he's going to say, "So then, what have you come to request?"
Venice is just over in the corner, just like, "Don't say blood. Don't say blood."
Yeah, wait till it's time.
Second date, come on, guys.
I think Sabek would first thank Varunga for taking the time to speak to all of them, and then say that, and well, then ask them if they knew that there's a giant on their mountain.
Okay.
I mean, Dragon, do you know that there is a giant on your mountain?
So,
You know that
very
there's
important.
mortals in misery on your mountain because of this giant.
You said you thank him for speaking to all of you. Are you going to invite, or I think if you say that in that specific terminology, the rest of us are going, Ciara thinks that's a cue that the rest of them should come out of the cave and join you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Alright.
Like a nod or lean towards the rest of the party.
Alright. You guys can grab your character and move them over as you please.
No point in trying to hide.
Alright. Varunga acknowledges your presence and does not seem intimidated, but he acknowledges you politely. And when Lunara steps out, he does seem a little bit surprised, and he doesn't say anything, but you can sense a moment of shock that somebody had gotten past him. So he says, "Yes, the frost giant. I'm not a fan of his kind, but it's something of an we've come to sort of a shit. What's that term for we've come to sort of a mutually assured destruction understanding at this point. Neither of us is strong enough to soundly defeat the other, so we have come to an understanding. He hasn't come here to stay, and I am allowing him, hospitality in these caves where he can sit like the, sub-inferior being that he is, until he has finished his business here."
Got him. So
you say something like, interesting. A being you consider an inferior, you treat as an equal. What if your strength is greater than his? What would you do then?
Varunga cocks his head curiously and says, "Given the opportunity, I would happily rid this land of another frost giant. Are you..."
Do we have a proposition for you?
Okay, so let me check my notes, because there's going to be some very specific terminology I have to use here, I think. Okay, so he's going to say, "Is this our deal then? I help you remove this cave of Orel if you, in exchange, you help me remove Orel? Would you like to add anything else in to sweeten the pot? Maybe I could bless you with incredible strength for the rest of your life. Maybe you would prefer ethereal beauty to go with. Maybe just some gold. Some gold.
What can you do?
I think,
Benita says that because he's
Sabek's bloodline.
never heard of dragons having the ability to do stuff like that.
Oh,
like the sound of gold.
he's going to turn to you and say, I can do a great many things.
Except beat this frost giant. I was too far away for him to hear that, right?
I think because you actually canonically whispered it, yes. So here's his offer. He will help you kill Orel for free because it serves him. He would prefer to sweeten the pot and throw in something else for you in exchange for something that you can provide. Maybe a promise that he can call upon in the future, or some treasure, or month of servitude or something like that.
I offer him the chance to pull out of my bag.
And okay, this is interesting. And he's going to say, that is an interesting offer you make, and I can keep anything I find in there?
Yep.
You
find.
He's
But
going to tap
on the
his
condition
foot.
if it's bad, we don't get in trouble.
He chuckles and says, all right, I enjoy that. I've heard of devices like this in the past. I assume this is just your bag of holding, but interesting, unknown object. I will trade you unknown object for unknown object. In exchange for your the first thing I find in your bag, I will give you the item of my trove closest to the entrance.
I really like this deal.
He nods. All right. And so he's going to ask, which of you will be sealing the bargain?
I think Gibble.
Wait. Vinitas has an idea.
Yes.
That idea.
Sebek here, he has this thing. He only seals bargains in blood.
Varunga chuckles and says, well, we dragons have sort of a similar tradition. He's going to offer his hand to Sabek and say, can you confirm you enter into this contract of your own free will? Help with killing the giant Orel, and the first thing that I find closest to the entrance of my trove, in exchange for help with killing Orel and a pool from your friend's bag of holding. He holds. You enter of your own free
On
will.
your honor, Drake.
What did you say?
I agree. On your honor, Drake, because
All right.
Sabek calls dragons all kinds of words for
Sure.
reptiles, dragons. He doesn't care.
He's going to take your hand, and he takes it with sort of supernatural strength, because he's in full-blown dragon form. Well,
Yeah.
then he takes it with the amount of strength you expect a creature of this size to have, and he's going to pull it towards him a little bit. So he's holding your hand in one of his paws, and he pulls his other paw down and presses the thumb of his paw into your palm. There is there's a moment of like white hot pain and burning on your palm. And as he pulls his thumb back, he licks the blood off of it. The second that the burning stops, there's no cut there. The cut healed itself, and burned in its place is a scar in the silhouette of a dragon.
Sweet.
And as such, he says, and so the bargain is sealed. And he's going to turn to Vanitas, and as he walks towards you, he's going to shift into his human form.
I think Sabek would take issue with this. If this is a deal in blood, why did only I shed it?
What'd you say?
Okay, no. He wanted to know why only Sabek had to shed blood for this. Varunga says, well, I need the treaty to be sealed for my end for bookkeeping purposes, but if you wish, and at this point he has shifted down to human form to pull from Vanitas' bag more comfortably, and he's going to take a bite out of his palm, which is not a thing that a normal human can do and produce blood very easily, but this guy seems to have some weird stuff going on, and he is going to offer his hand towards you with there's sort of a line where his semi-draconic teeth have cut into his palm.
I'm gonna go to hand him one of my feathers and see what he does.
Okay, I need to know what Sabek does first.
I think Sabek would clasp his hand and then say
I thought you said he was reaching... I didn't know he was reaching towards Sabek.
No, you canonically just tried to butt into this very intimate interaction.
Okay, that works.
So Sabek, you clasp his hand.
He clasps his hand and says something like, now the laws of mortals and the laws of dragons are accord.
Alright, and Varunga nods in agreement and is going to, he kind of holds his hand up and flexes it, and as he does, you see this like molten iron burn over where the cut was, and it is healed.
So did you want my feather for my part of the agreement?
He looks at it for a second and then says, damn it, yes I do. And he takes it. And he's going to stuff it into a pocket. It is kind of questionable whether this pocket is actually made out of fabric, since it was part of his dragon self earlier, but who knows? It might be a kangaroo pouch situation.
That's a marsupial dragon?
So I have a question. So this guy took a pretty good bite out of his palm and shook hands with Sabek. Would it be enough for Sabek to kind of just like
lick his palm?
Scrape it off into one of the bottles that he has on his duster?
Do you know, so I think we established your character is not going through withdrawal today. Or if you were... Yeah, you passed the check. You're not going through withdrawal today. You didn't get enough to make an entire dose, but you get enough that you could lick it and get a nice, buzz from it.
Right. Okay. I'm just gonna go along with having a dragon bloodied hand for now until we meet Orel.
Okay, I like that. Vanitas Varunga is going to walk over to you and hold his hand out.
I will hold my bag out with whatever kind of smile you can picture somebody with a beak having, and just open it.
There are creatures with beaks can have very good smiles. Somebody's gonna have to Google this. As you do so, okay, he is going to reach inside and I guess he's gonna get your daily pull from the bag. Let me okay, hold on. I had it open just a second ago. So that would be history.
I found one.
Is it in Discord?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly that. Yes, that's very good. Okay, can somebody roll me a D100? So that's just /roll D100, and
I have to be doing something wrong.
yeah, can you re-roll that? Because you got a lot of hundreds last time.
I re-rolled it. I don't know.
You know the best part here. He gets to keep it.
Like I don't know how I keep getting 100. Didn't I roll 2 in a row last time?
Oh my god, I was not... This is not an interaction I could ever have expected. What is happening?
All right, let's hear it again.
I can't change it. I already have this pre-written. You rolled a 100. You had a current modifier of +4. The dragon reaches into the bag, and as he pulls his hand out, a beautiful elven woman dressed in a robe falls to the ground, and he is holding her right ear.
Oh my
What just happened?
And Varunga is going to say, do I own her now? I think
That's more of a
legally
moral
I
question.
own her.
You can't own another living thing, dragon.
He's going to say, yeah, that's a very good point. Oh my god, that sound canonically happens somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna have to grab a for this lady. Alright, let me find us a nice elven woman.
Oh.
Okay. I was not expecting this. Okay.
I just want to know what this woman says.
Yeah, so this woman is going to be thrashing around. She's going to say, "Stop! What are you doing? Don't put me in that bag!" And then she's going to look around and see this guy holding her arm and whack his hand, and then injure her hand because he's basically made out of bricks. She's going to say, "Ow! What the fuck? What's happening? Who are you people?"
Hi, I'm Vanitas. I'm going to shake her hand.
She's going to slap your hand away and say, "Unhand me! What
Witchcraft.
are you doing? What's happening?"
Well, that's a long story.
Why was I in that bag? Why did those people put me in a bag?
I don't even know what people you're talking about, lady.
Yeah. Sounds like a personal problem. How'd you get in the bag?
Where are you from?
The bag.
A bunch of ruffians held this bag out and stuffed me into it. There was a strange clown man in there. I was in there for like 3 seconds, and then you pulled me out by my ear. And she's going to slap his hand up again, and Varunga is going to look very confused and say, sorry? And let go of her ear. And take a step back.
So, Varunga, what do you do?
Okay, so this girl's, she's going to say, "My name is Kellyanna. I was an accountant in my hometown until somebody stuffed me in a bag, and now I'm apparently in the middle of nowhere, so that's great. Loving this so far.
What kind of accounting were you doing? Did you work for a mob?
I mean...
How'd you get stuffed in this bag?
Are we gonna get nitpicky about what is and what isn't a mob here? Let's...
The mob is the Scoia'tael. God.
Assume that it's an accountant for the mob, but could have been a very proper legal accountant.
Well, I'm just like, was she cooking somebody's books and like got herself in a bad deal? No.
Maybe that's why she's so upset, though.
She's going to shrug and say, hey, look, your guess is as good as mine. Somebody has to help me get home.
What year is it?
She's going to say 765, and that puts her at about 130 years ago.
Ma'am, your home is gone now.
She's gonna say, well, that's just fucking great. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Listen, one of you guys is responsible for getting me to civilization.
We could take her to that place where the lady took that other lady in.
We made a deal.
We did.
Varunga's going to say, look, I have had unwilling hostages before, and it's not fun, and I would not like to redo that. Look, they made a deal with me that I could keep whatever I pulled out of the bag in exchange for some treasure from my treasure trove. Can I maybe just take, like, one of your earrings? In exchange, I'll give you whatever we grab? And she is going to just say, fuck it. Yes, whatever. I'm done with this. And she gives him an earring, and he's going to say, all right, I'll be right back. And he's going to start walking, well, actually, he's just going to walk to the ledge and then drop down the ledge. And then is going to repeat that a couple times as he walks to the next ledge and drops down the next ledge.
Vanitas is straight following him doing the exact same thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, move your Vanitas down. Okay, copy. Oh, actually, I don't need to copy and paste this. I'm going to be oh, shit, this is difficult to do so far zoomed out. Okay, I'm going to move you two. Don't panic. It's going to be dark for a second. Pan your camera to the left, and in just a second, you will see a newly revealed area. Okay. You're standing in doorway 9A.
Yes.
Anybody who wants to follow along can pan to the left. And Varunga is going to stretch out as he walks through his lair. There's more of these chasms on the edge there. There is, notably within his lair, there's a pile of treasure in one corner. There's also a large dragon that seems to be curled up as if it, you know, kind of curled up how like a cat curls up to sleep. And it seems to be maybe a large statue of a dragon or something, because it is entirely coated in iron. So there's this large iron dragon that has had some of its features distorted and
now,
sort of smoothed out.
Do I need to roll a perception, or do I just like notice some things about it? Because like I want to know if it's like if it's smooth or if it's rough and jagged like the iron out there.
I will go ahead and tell you because you're in a situation where you can just look. It is rough. It's the same texture as the iron out there.
So I'm gonna like tap Varunga on the shoulder and ask if he just like covered another dragon in iron and just left him here.
he is going to look at it and sigh very sadly, and he's going to say, that was my father, and he has passed. It's a tradition among my people.
That's a good tradition.
It
Can
is
you
a
do that
good
to me when I die?
Hey, you want to make a deal? He's gonna hold his hand out.
What's the deal?
When you die, I will cover you in iron free of charge.
Shaking
As
his hand.
long as I know the location of your death.
Deal. I will give him
All right,
my
he
hand.
shakes your hand, he presses his thumb into your hand, you get a dragon-shaped burn on your palm, and he's going to lick the blood off of his palm.
And I'm going to tell him that. Just like, if you ever get a feeling I'm dead, just follow the scent of that feather.
Okay. He's going to walk in here and grab the closest thing to the door, which I think canonically is this hat. So we'll put that on the token layer. And he says, I think I owe that elf woman this hat. Yep. And he's going to walk back to where you guys came from and give this hat to the elf lady. Did I do good? Yes. Navigate back to where the party is.
Gotcha.
If I did right, yes, we're all over there with a hat. My cat is currently, like, shoulder deep in this, the bottom of this door. He's just really getting in there. I thought you guys would need to know that information.
I love cats. I am always good for cats.
Okay. And now this elf lady has a pretty, very nice hat. And she's going to say, hey, I mean, I don't know if it's worth the earring, but this is a pretty nice. Okay, I like it. Things are turning around. This is not, I mean, okay, everyone I know is dead.
Well,
Actually, you know what?
maybe not everyone. She's an elf. They live for a long
That's a very
time.
good question. I'm pretty sure it was a human that said that. She's going to turn to you, Lunara, and say, hey, you're of the fair folk. How long has it actually been? Is this like everyone you know is dead by human standards? And again, it's been like 130 years.
What the hell's living in this world?
She could get lucky. I mean, elves live a long time.
Okay. Well, you pass on that information, and she's gonna rub her neck and say, it's not great, but I don't know. I'll check back in.
At least you got a nice hat. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure.
you take the good with the bad.
Yeah, maybe I'll just like meet my my nieces and nephews all grown up now or something. Okay. So you guys have a Varunga. He agreed to help you kill Orel. Let me check in.
And we
his-
have an accountant.
And you have an accountant now. Although she does not like you guys and does not want to be your accountant.
Damn.
I think we should start heading towards Orel.
Correct. Emma said she would give me a 15 minutes heads up before she was ready, but she also said she would be ready at 8, so I just texted her to check in.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to have to slip back to the other map for a brief detour. So... fuck.
About the first peak?
Okay. Emma says she's just finishing up her snack. Good. So, yeah, any DMs move to that other map. Players, you should have just been pulled over there against your will. And you guys are heading back out of this cave that you took lunch in. So I'm dropping you all down here. No, he's not there yet. Get out of here, Jarmood. Also, Wex isn't here, and Hogard isn't here. Okay. So, let's see. Where can I... Alright, so Emma should be free in a second. I'm going to drop her in. Alright, and then we'll do that. Alright, yeah. I think I can kind of just throw her in wherever. Alright, so you guys are going to come back to this bridge. The bridge is not difficult to cross this time because you killed all those birds. There are a great number of bird corpses.
Brings a tear to Vanitas' eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanna. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm just moving your party forward a bit. We're gonna have one question, or we're gonna have one interaction, and then I want to ask Vanitas a question. So we're going back to the entrance to 5B, and while we're there, Lunara is going to notice a baby giant raven. It appears to be the young form of one of the giant ravens that you guys fought earlier. We're going to cover that interaction in just a second. Vanitas, you technically had a chance to do this while you were going into the dungeon, but the rest of the party was busy. Or sorry, you just weren't there. So, we've gone through every cave entrance in this place and have fairly well mapped out, but we have yet to find anything that leads into or out of these two caves. As far as we can tell, the only way to get to them is through aerial or acrobatic maneuvering. Would you like to run through and investigate those caves in a second?
Sure. That sounds intriguing.
Okay, then in that case, I'm going to move you down as a marker to do that. And if the gods of timing are in my favor, then hopefully I will be able to do that just as Emma comes online, because I think I can have your two characters bump into each other there.
Okay.
So, Lunara, you are, you're walking back this way, and just on the bottom side of this cliff here, near the cave entrance, there is a large bird's nest. It's probably, I'm thinking the size of those comical pterodactyl bird's nests that you always see in movies, where they have pterodactyls. So something like 10, 15 feet wide bird's nest. And there's one giant raven baby, question mark, in it, that is just squawking up a storm and flapping around and looks like it can't quite get out of this bird's nest because it maybe has an injured wing. What do you do? Do we have Aeneas?
Hello, I'm sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard all that, but
I wanna go over and help. Well, I wanna make sure it's safe. Like, there's not gonna be any giant birds that come freak out if I get close. But I would like to go help it.
I think you killed all the giant birds.
Okay, cool. Then I want to go help.
Okay. So you can climb down there. As you approach it, it is going to kind of squawk at you defensively and back up to the corner of the nest. What's your game plan here? How do you want to help it? I think whatever you do, it's probably going to involve an animal handling roll, but I want to know what you're attempting.
Well, I'd like to try and at least get close enough that I can handle it. So maybe like hold my hands up to like show I don't mean it harm and try to get close to it slowly.
Okay, go ahead and roll animal handling. And I'll give you advantage on this one. All right, 20. 20 is very good. All right. You let off an air of perfect, comforting confidence, and the raven lets you approach. Do you want... So I guess I can start by saying you get a general inspection of it. You would have to roll something to get like a full... Not autopsy. When a doctor looks you over. You're not going to get like a full physical on this bird, but it does seem like it's an injured wing that is preventing it from getting out of this nest, which is not great if its parents are dead.
Yeah. So I guess I'd like to examine it, see if it's if like the wing is like broken, if I can tell, and then see if maybe we can like, I don't know, do I have it? Maybe I could like splint it with like the rope I have somehow, maybe some sticks.
I would say you probably have supplies that you could do that with, just general travel supplies. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say. As you do this, you're going to form an uncanny connection with this bird that is going to be expressed in the gameplay terms of you. After this, will have an animal familiar. But first, I'm trying to check what you would roll for that. Okay, there's a medicine check. Roll medicine. Oh, you did. Okay, 14. So, yes, with a 14, you're going to be able to, check it out. It's, I honestly don't know what the different, like, degrees of injury to a bird wing would be. Okay, Emma is online.
Do you want, before Vanitas like jumps over there, do you want him to help with the whole like splinting a bird wing thing?
Yeah. Can Vanitas help with this?
Okay, I think that's a great idea. Vanitas is going to be able to help you do that.
Yeah, I'll help with that. And I don't know the last thing about it myself, but Vanitas sure does.
So I think what's going to happen, and this is going to make sense canonically and work out mechanically and all that stuff, you're going to sort of bandage its wings tightly to its side, so it's not going to be able to fly for a while. It's only going to be able to move on the ground, which it is not as fast at as, say, a wolf or even a human. But it will be able to attack with its talons or beak if that comes up. However, you do take 11 points of damage during the experience as he pecks you because you're touching his freaking broken arm.
What? Now, is he pecking Vanitas or is he pecking me?
He's pecking Lunara.
He pecked the shit out of you.
It's a
So you said 11,
experience as a
right?
whole.
So should I just put 11 in that red circle? Because I want to make sure I keep track of this time.
You can do 11, or you can click on the 50 and say minus 11, and it will actually subtract from your health bar. Yep.
Oh, there we go.
See?
Sweet.
Hey, is Emma online?
I'm here.
Hi,
Hello.
Emma.
Fry, the Frenchiest fry.
This is perfect timing. I'm about to do a scene with your friend Vanitas, who is not Diarmude's friend, although Cody does know Diarmude.
Cody does know Diarmude.
She's universe hopping to get into our campaign.
There's no issue with that.
I wouldn't put it past him. He seems like he could do it.
He's a very
Didn't Elk time universe hop?
Elk did. This is the second character to hop dimensions in this campaign, so not really groundbreaking here.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second. Emma, are you connected to Roll20? If you just go to roll20.net, you should have access to our campaign already. So it should just be like listed in your active campaigns and you can just join. If that doesn't work, let me know. Okay. So while she's working on that, I have a couple things I need to go over with Vanitas, because there's some neat stuff here. And stuff you probably would have addressed before going in.
Deal.
Damn it. GM layer? GM layer. Here we go. Okay. So, Vanitas, as you enter this lower platform, lower cliff ledge, with a cave entrance, there is a, you're going to see a sort of ritual chest in place in front of this door. The chest is open. If you look on the map, you might need to zoom out. It's right here, right next to Lunara's bird. You can see the open chest.
Uh-huh.
There's an inscription on the top of the chest that I guarantee nobody else in the party would be able to read, but you can, because it is written in ancient Aarakocran, the language that you learned in the monastery, and it reads that the dough may rise. It's a sort of the equivalent of like quoting a Bible passage. It is a reference to a specific passage in the Aarakocran monastic tradition that refers to the nature of giving tithe.
Okay.
So you can sort of deduce that maybe at some point people made offerings here.
All right, well, I will leave a feather as an offering because I don't have much to leave.
You don't have much to leave, that's correct. As you leave the feather in this chest, the chest is set up where it's kind of piggy bank style. It's got a slot in the top that you can just drop things into, but also it's got a lock that you can open. It looks like at some point in the past somebody had came and just broken the lock off with like a hammer and looted whatever was inside of it. So yours is the first offering in here in a long time. Okay. With that said, you enter the cave. You're going to notice that there are some stairs carved into the cave here. And as you climb up the stairs, you're going to see a man who is investigating a skeleton. Emma, what's your Roll20 situation?
What's my what? Oh, Roll20. I'm not in yet.
Okay. Do you need a link?
Going slow. Sorry.
I just pasted the... Oh, actually, it probably would just be do this.
I have faith in you.
Okay. I've pasted the general Roll20 link in there. And now I'm going to try to get a invitation link to this place in case you need it. Actually, no, you already have a account, so I imagine you shouldn't. All right. Try getting connected. In the meantime, just stay on the line. So Vanitas, you're going to see a man investigating this scene. The man is he has some of the features you would expect to see in a half-elf. He also has some of the features you would expect to see in a dwarf. So, rugged skin and hair, sort of sturdy build, but also the fair hair of the elves, the sort of elven beauty and facial features, and sort of an elven grace to his movements, and
Pointy ears.
Pointy ears, yes. Okay, and there are some other things about this scene that I can lay out. I guess the basics are: there's a skeleton, there's a shield next to the skeleton that's going to be relevant when you get closer to it, and there is it's not so much a chest, it's more like a suitcase next to the skeleton, and the remains of like a camping setup, so like a sleeping bag and an old fire pit and stuff like that.
Okay, so I can assume that I can tell that it's not an Eric Cochran skeleton. It's just a
no,
non-bird
it's not
person
Eric
skeleton.
Cochran. They have very distinct skeletons. It's maybe human or elvish.
Okay. Now, what's the lighting situation in this?
That's a good question. It's the only light you have is the light coming in from the two cave entrances. So not terrible, but dim. It's sort of like like the light you would get just sitting in like a living room with just window light in the middle of the day.
Okay, so it's not actually considered dim lighting though. It's
No,
just
I don't
like
think so.
okay. Then I will walk up as quietly as I can behind him and try to see what Diarmuid is up to.
Okay.
I can roll a stealth if you need.
No, this is going to be very interesting. You see, I have to check his character, but as a rogue, Diarmuid is particularly hard to sneak up on. Yeah, okay. So you can stealth your way up towards him, but you're going to have a disadvantage because he's a rogue. As you're walking towards him, you're going to hear kind of a muttering coming from the general direction of Diarmuid as he inspects this site. Go ahead and make your roll, Vanitas.
Huh.
Okay.
I just trip.
So Diarmuid is going to hear. He's going to hear you approaching. Now you didn't do terribly. In fact, I would say that canonically, you got you behaved as if you had rolled a 19 for stealth. But Diarmude heard you as if you had rolled a 9 for stealth because he's a rogue and he's particularly good at avoiding ambushes. So he's going to respond however Emma says he responds, but as he does so, the muttering that you've been hearing coming from this area is going to shout, like, "Look out! Behind you!" Something like that.
He's totally talking to a skeleton.
Something like that. Emma, you're in this cave. You've been inspecting the remains of somebody who seems to have died in this cave. While you were doing so, you noticed that this guy had a shield that seems to be letting out a constant, magically animated, like, whispering, muttering to itself. And as you hear somebody approaching from behind you, the shield shouts out a warning. How do you respond? Oh no. Do I have Emma?
Are we still Storm King's Thunder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Should be getting it open now.
Okay. So you hear a guy sneaking up from behind you.
Internet, it's just so slow.
Guy sneaking up from behind you. You hear the shield shout a warning. What do you do?
Well, turn around.
Okay. Do you immediately draw weapons, or do you wait to see what the situation is?
How far away from me is when How far away from me is he when I turn around?
40-some feet. So, he would have to run to get to you. Or actually, no, he was moving towards you by the time you heard him. So I would say, let's say 30 feet.
Either way, just turn around a little wave and be like, "Hey there."
Hi. How you doing? Who are you talking to?
I did not hear what you said.
I said, hi. How you doing? And who are you talking to?
I wasn't talking to anybody. I was listening.
Oh. To question mark. So.
Sorry. So let me give you guys a layout of the situation. Now that Emma knows actually what's going on, or wants her, whatever. Okay, so Diarmude, you have been exploring this ruins, looking for the quest that I mentioned earlier. You're trying to retrieve a person's body. It doesn't seem to be this, but actually, oh shit, it's way more entertaining if it is actually this body. This is not what I was planning for. Okay. Okay. How do I do this? Diarmude, you were hired by a guy named Lonnie Rancastle. And I'll go ahead and write that down so it's canon. Lonnie Rancastle. To find the body of his father, who had left to talk to the dragon that lives in this mountains and never returned. Presumably, his deal with the dragon had gone bad and he died. While you were exploring, you found some of these. You found some evidence of Aarakocra, like a site of religious significance once existed in this mountain, which is really interesting to you. But also, you have just recently found a body. The body is wearing light armor under multiple layers of robes. There's a wand and a shield near him. You can hear faint whispers coming from the shield. In fact, you've been here long enough that you've been able to make them out. They are... the shield seems to be mourning the loss of his friend Dorian, and is depressed at his failure to rescue him. This is significant because the father of Lonnie Rancastle was named Dorian Rancastle. Besides his corpse is a traveling chest, like a suitcase, kind of. You're gonna find... It looks like it once contained a lot of necessities for traveling. All of the robes inside that might have once occupied here have been piled on top of the skeleton, as if to warm itself up. All the food inside has been eaten. There are some tools that a scribe or a wizard might use, material components, writing book, writing tools. And you're going to find his diary. Would you like to read his diary?
Yes.
Okay.
Always.
Good. I mean, all good archaeologists are basically just super nosy people. So it mentions that he had left his son to come make a deal with Virunga for knowledge that would help him in his professional capacity as a professor at the university or some shit. He apparently, while he was on the way here, he was attacked by a flock of giant birds trying to cross the bridge, and he took shelter in this cave, hoping that they would go away. But the birds had just been like taking shifts guarding the exit to the cave, and he just kept waiting for them to go away, and eventually he was running out of food, and by the end of the diary he talks about how he can feel himself starving now, but he's too weak to escape at this point, and his shield, Grey Touch, keeps giving him warnings about the danger that if he doesn't find food for himself he's going to die. He has to do something to protect himself, but it's there's nothing he can do at this point, so he's just going to I think the journal entries just stop there. He probably starved to death, but that gives you some indication that this shield next to him, Grey Touch, seems to be somehow sentient and seems to warn of danger. And that's all you got. That's the situation.
Okay.
So, Diarmude, you still are trying to find these, like the center of the Aarakocra temple that once lived in this area.
Yeah.
And Vanitas, do you remember where we left off with that interaction? I think you had asked something, and I had to sort of give that backstory to...
I was asking Diarmude, like, who they were speaking with. Because there was a skeleton and a shield. But his voice didn't match the voice that I heard.
Okay, honestly, I think I'm going to.
Emma, you're muted.
I started
I know,
off
I
what she was saying. Oh,
I
okay.
muted myself on purpose.
Oh,
Okay.
No, I think I might get off of roll 20 just because
Oh, that's fine.
all I see of the map is just black and white, and I don't think my internet connection is going to want to support this and Discord.
Okay. Well, we don't need the visual side for you, so we can just have you follow along verbally.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Sorry.
fine. Yeah, no worries. So, Dr. Mude, are you just going to fill Vanitas in on sort of what you figured out through the diary?
Yeah. Just be like, probably more along the lines of just, well, this dead guy's son asked me to come bring his body back, so.
I wonder if a skeleton counts as a body.
I don't know. I'm tempted. I'm just kind of tempted to burn it and bring back the ashes. It'd be easier to carry.
It would be
Honestly,
easier.
just scoop up some dirt.
Be like, oh, all I found was ashes. Oh darn.
You do have his diary. You can say, hey,
Yeah.
look, there were some ashes. If there was this book, that proves it.
Be like, look, I found some ashes, but more importantly, I found your father's memento, his diary, like all his last thoughts. Here, bam, for you.
Okay.
This is gonna give Diamut a high five because. So,
All right.
and now that you're finished with your mission, you want to help us fight a giant and possibly a dragon?
Wow. Kids these days.
Hey,
You guys just jumping into weird shit. Oh, all right, I'm on board.
another high five, and let's take that shield. Seems like it might be useful.
You mean the one that's whispering?
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm not gonna touch it, but you go right ahead, man.
I'm totally grabbing that shield. And I'm gonna see if there's anything else in that suitcase to take.
The only other stuff in the suitcase are material components for spells and, like, scribe tools. There's paper and writing implements and stuff like that.
Okay, I'll bring it out and see if anyone wants anything from the case.
Okay. The skeleton also has armor and robes, but neither of them seem particularly special. Okay, the one other thing I want to show you, because you had not yet seen the upper story of this cave thing. I'm gonna drag your character just for a second. We're finding 4A on the map.
Okay.
Okay. And at 4A, okay, there's another ritual chest. This one is still locked, and the inscription on this one reads something that roughly translates to like that the dirt may be washed. And where the previous chest was a reference to the offering of tithe, this one is a reference to the offering of confession. So you know from your time in the monasteries that people were supposed to write down their sins on like small scrolls and put them in a box like this, and it's a way of like washing away the sin.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna like whisper. I don't have any scrolls, and that's my sin. And then kind of leave the box alone.
Ow! Fuck. Cat just gnawed on my foot. Okay. Alright, so Vanitas and Diarmuid shouldn't have any trouble getting back to the rest of the party. And we have about 19 minutes before Zai and Aeneas call it. So that's enough time to set up the next scene. Real quick, who wants to take this fancy talking shield that gives you, it makes it harder for you to be ambushed?
I do.
Here you go, buddy.
Fuck.
You guys are...
Okay. Alright, then, I'm going to put on Gimbal's character sheet that he has Dorian's shield.
What does it do?
It whispers to you, things that you should be concerned about. So, the benefit of it is that, first of all, I think that you actually can't use a shield for defense because you're a monk, because it, like, hinders your dodging. So, it's still helpful, but you basically are just gonna keep it, like, your back.
Okay.
So
it just tells me it tells me things to worry about?
Yeah, so the benefit of it is that if somebody is going to, like, ambush you, it will shout out a warning, which we actually heard when Vanitas tried to ambush Diarmuid. It, shouted out, like, hey, look out! So it'll do stuff like that. It'll help you avoid traps and ambushes, as well as, like, natural disasters and other dangers. It's basically just built-in Spidey sense. Now, that is when it's at its best. When it's at its worst, it's basically like the voice you have in your head when you have anxiety. It's just 24/7, like, oh no, something's terribly wrong. When was the last time you sharpened your weapons? Maybe they're gonna, break on you in combat next time.
Basically, I have a psychotic shield.
Yes.
Pretty much. But you don't know that yet.
It's my burden to bear. Yet to become burden to bear.
Yep. Okay, and that'll wait.
And I will introduce Diarmuid briefly to the party and say, this is our new friend. He is he's in the internship stages, and he shall be accompanying us on our venture.
Name's
Definitely
Jeremy.
a noob.
Ciara
Nice to meet you.
approves and waves hello. Okay, so we're going to move the whole group down to where did I put this on the map? Alright, it's down... Shit, where is it? Okay, it's straight up north. So I'm moving our whole group into this four-way intersection that you guys can find on the north part of the map. Ciara is with you guys. I'll go grab her Pog later. Zebediah is still where you left him, and he's still kind of on the fringes of consciousness. As you guys head through this way, the 5C exit here is the one that, according to Zebediah, leads down to Orel's camp. But as you walk through this intersection, Varunga actually is going to show concern for like the first time since you've met him, and he's going to run over to Zebediah, and he's going to lean over him and say, "Zeb, my friend, what have they done to you? Oh, this is horrible." And at this point, Zeb is like too out of it to really respond, but he's going to look back at you guys and say, "Did Orel do this?"
Oh. If Orel is the dickhead, yes.
This is what we spoke of on the peaks.
Yeah, Varunga's gonna pause for a second. Gate. Let's go kill this fucker.
I'm gonna go give Varunga a high five.
Varunga returns your high five. It is like high-fiving a statue that is very hot. You're going to suffer 1 point of burn damage.
I'm down.
You can choose if you want to write that down or not. It's not going to make much of a difference.
Oh, I'm taking it.
Very good. Okay, so we're not going to have time for the fight, but we can set up the fight for next time. So, I've copied all of our characters. I'm moving us over to Sword Mountain's second peak. Sorry, there was way too much to fit on one map, so it got shifted around a lot. Okay, party has been moved. I'm going to shuffle us up as much as I can. Reveal. Doot 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 doot. Okay, everyone in the map, which should be everyone right now, except for Emma, you can, look in the bottom left corner to find the area that we're hanging out in right now. Brief adventure music. Okay, and this cave seems to go on until visibility drops off and you just can't see any further, but it seems to be the basic layout of the cave. The vast majority of it is one of these underground lakes that we've seen so many times in this mountain structure. Again, with these cliff-like pillars of land poking out of them. Some of them are not directly connected, so they have bridges joining them. And there is... I mean, there's a big giant. There's a big giant sitting in the middle of the room. He is sitting on a throne and seems to be sharpening a... I mean, probably a battle axe, something that he would have. He doesn't seem to be aware of your presence just yet, and there are 4 mephits in front of him, which some of you might recognize as the mephits that Wex summoned in your fight the other day.
Oh, they're the same ones?
They're the same ones.
Oh, God.
So they seem to be having some kind of discussion with Orel as he sharpens this axe, which might actually be to your benefit because he is distracted with them. That is most of what there is to take in about this scene. You can't see it right now, but in case I forget to mention it earlier, on the other side of Orel's little island from you, there's a another cave mouth that leads further into the complex somewhere. So I think that if people are getting off at 9, this is probably a good stopping point. Let's see.
Right.
Unless, if you guys want, we can keep going with just Emma, Cody, and Morgan. For
For a boss
It'd be a
fight.
pretty tough fight.
yeah, it would be that would be a rough fight to do. I mean, even with
I also kind of want to see Wex's reaction to the magma methods being present.
Yeah, same here.
I agree. Okay, so do we want to, I don't think anything we're going to do in the next 10 minutes would give us a better conclusion than where we're at right now. Agreed?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay.
So, go to the next match or session. I mean.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm happy with where this is going. All right, then I'm gonna head out. Sorry you got a short game, Emma. We'll make them
Well,
longer.
I could have come on earlier, but I didn't.
No, that's okay. All right.
Yes.
Then I'm gonna head out.
Have a good
All
night.
right, I'll catch you guys later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.